Hello, this is MBA Bites, a series about things you learn in business school and things you don't. I am Vin Bittencourt, and today we're going to continue on the subject of leadership, the theme of some of our recent episodes. First, we highlighted the benefits in being in a leadership position, not just for personal growth and satisfaction, but also better money-making opportunities and faster career growth. Then we highlighted some of the key competencies that are common to both world-class performers and great leaders. And then some tidbits on what it takes to build and sustain high-performing teams at work. Today, we're going to profile 4 types of leaders, the most common types of leaders in organizations or in any enterprise. You probably report to one of those types, or you probably are one of those types. The technician, the diplomat, the driver, and the strategist. But you're probably asking yourself, how does the leadership styles or the leadership profiles can help you? Well, to achieve career success, you have to consistently bring better results than the average person. First, as an individual contributor, but then as you rise through the rankings to the contributions of others. But before you get to build a high-performance team, you got to learn how to support one. And that means understanding and knowing the differences in leadership styles and communication styles, especially the style of your leader. You got to know exactly how your leader operates so you adapt to better serve your team and better serve your organization. On the other hand, if you're already a leader of people, it's your responsibility to adapt your delivery, your communication style to better serve your followers. These profiles here can help you detect the type of leader you're being more recently, to find what kind of image you're projecting as a leader. If somehow you're not finding the results you projected or something it's not perfectly in tune with the dynamics of the team, there's a likelihood or there's a chance that you're over-relying in one leadership style that's disengaging your team. So understanding different styles, it's important so you can find the balance to adapt and operate differently according to the situation. More versatility to your leadership style may come handy. Actually, these 4 profiles are not fixed, they're not monolithic. They can be orchestrated and deployed differently in different scenarios, in different situations. In fact, the most successful people, both as followers and leaders, are the ones who can adapt. So let's check together these 4 leadership profiles and see where you stand as a leader or maybe where you stand as a follower. So the first leader profile is a technician leader. A technician leader is a subject matter expert who operates by logic, by data analysis. He's the person that's really good from a technical standpoint. They got where they are because of the expertise. So technicians, they like to orchestrate things and to operate by factual-based evidence, using science to solve problems, to connect with people on the team. They're very dedicated professionals who like to study and expand their knowledge base and their expertise. Things a technician leader craves: rules, procedures, guidelines, efficiency, keeping things under control, continuous improvement. They don't like variation, right? They want to stay on track all the time, following the rules, following the guidelines, very rigid in that sense. Where do you find technicians as leaders more often, right? In very technical driven positions. Accountants, data scientists, software engineers, or engineers of any sort. They have very factual-based logic using linear thinking, to solve problems. So technicians are a very interesting breed in many ways, right? Especially because they're good students of problems, right? They like to go deeper and deeper to analyze things, in intricate detail and provide, long explanations for things but mostly using science and factual-based evidence as the main argument to connect and to promote changes and to do things. They're always going to use rational thinking and logic to argue on their positions and to find ways to keep moving and keep working. So how does a technician leader typically fails? Well, technicians in leadership positions, they're very logic and data driven, right? They always try to build consensus using hard logic and arguing and fighting for change and doing things. Sometimes they miss the big picture. When situations are foggy or ambiguous, they fail to operate with ambiguity. Finding new ways, new solutions, thinking outside of processes, outside of guidelines, especially in innovative, creative environments. At the same time, on the extreme, technician leaders are because they are very educated and knowledgeable about things. Sometimes they're very self-righteous and dismissive of other people when, they don't know what they're talking about, or, that person doesn't have the same type of knowledge and expertise, so they kind of dismissive of their opinions or their feelings and their strategies. For the same reason, technicians sometimes fail to operate with enough emotional intelligence to connect and build relationships of trust and respect. They usually fail to adopt a more strategic purview, and moving to the top in more strategic positions because they lack that special, soft skills to build those relationships. Technicians usually don't do feelings, right? They're very logic and reason driven and up to the point. However, they do really well as supervisors and mid-level managers because of their capacity to keep things on track, the discipline and the drive and the energy to get things right and to follow rules and to follow compliance and minimize variation and keep people moving and going and engaged. So they are very helpful in so many ways, but typically those are some of the reasons how a technician leader fails, right? He fails on the relationship side, on the soft skills side, although he's really good on the hard skills side, on the logic driven side. If you are a technician leader, how can you improve your style and stay truthful to who you are? Learn how to operate with ambiguity. Deviating from processes and procedures may be helpful sometimes. Not every problem has a solution that's grounded on logic, on hard data. Don't torture yourself, or others looking for the perfect solution. Sometimes in business, a good enough solution or a pragmatic solution can lead to meaningful results. I know you can build 25 amazing functionalities for a product, but if the client's only paying for 5, maybe delivering 5 is the best way to go. At the same time, recognize different styles. Learn how to communicate and adapt to different styles of people, especially people that are non-technical. Obviously, look for environments where you can deploy your strengths, technical-driven environments, but learn how to communicate and cross-collaborate with creatives. If you're a follower of a technician leader, how do you build trust? Give them data, factual evidence before you ask for support or you try to convince them of anything. Use rational, linear thinking. Bring tons of data, metrics, and facts and figures to your stories, to your briefings, to your presentations. The diplomatic leader. So as the name goes, diplomacy is at the core of a diplomat leader's approach. Diplomats in leadership positions, they crave harmony. They want to preserve social structures and group norms. They do the impossible not to shake things up, not to rock the boat. Things a diplomat leader craves usually: harmony, high quality, respectful relationships, high-class behavior, high-class communication, diplomacy at all levels, special respect for structures, for norms, for hierarchy, red tape, protocols. Where do you see diplomats in leadership positions more often? Client-facing roles, frontline supervisory roles, most of the time in, government, nonprofit positions, but also higher education as professors, as academics, as teachers, researchers. How diplomat leaders typically fail. So some of the things that typically fail because they're very conscientious of harmony and good relationships. Diplomat leaders have a hard time engaging in conflict, in calling out people for bad behavior, for low performance, in punishing, reprimanding, and providing harsh feedback to people. On the extreme, they're too polite, too politically correct, to push for changes, to push for transformations, and sometimes they end up losing the team because of their lack of assertiveness, right? People may see that as weakness. Their friendliness and their candor sometimes gets in the way of their authority, their assertiveness. Sometimes diplomatic leaders are slow to make harsh changes, but important changes that can shake up the team and shake up the camaraderie and the existing group norms. If you're a diplomatic leader, how can you improve your style and at the same time stay truthful to who you are? Well, look at the cost of harmony. Your main goal as a manager, as a leader, is not exactly to be liked, but to be trusted and respected. So set high expectations and enforce norms, enforce procedures, enforce guidelines. Don't be afraid to call out people for bad behavior, to punish, to reprimand them, because you want to set the example. Otherwise, you're going to lose the team for your lack of authority, your lack of assertiveness. If you're a follower of a diplomatic leader, how do you build trust? Operate with empathy, kindness, politeness, finesse, sophistication. If you want to convince him of something, and using rational analysis only works if you bring a good dose of energy, of passion. Show them that you're conscientious of of other people's feelings and the things you do and say can affect the team. Talk to him about your contributions in terms of how do you want to strengthen the team's position? How do you want to build a better camaraderie, a better environment that, listens to people and at the same time considers everyone's opinions and try to build consensus and compromise as much as possible. Show the diplomatic leader that you considerate of people, right? That you're willing to go to the extra mile for the results, but at the same time trying to find ways to give people some of the things that they want to improve their situation, to give them more motivation, more recognition. So leaders with a diplomatic mindset, they care about the people. They obviously work hard for results, but they care about the harmony and the people and the group norms. So anything about the team and how to make the team stronger and more collaborative, connects really well with a diplomatic leader. The driver leader. Drivers are taskmasters. They always operate with a high goal, with a high purpose, with an end goal in mind. They are high energy, self-reliant, self-driven leaders who are ruthless in their pursuit of excellence and results. Some of the things that a driver leader craves: results, results, results. They hate missed deadlines. They hate excuses. Where do you see driver leaders more often? Well, from mid to senior management levels in organizations, mostly every people at the top are drivers, right? They're really good at tactical plans, engaging, mobilizing, and reverse engineering things, and delegating, commanding in pursuit of results, and getting things done. How does a driver leader typically fails? Well, the driver leader's strength and strong personality and commitment to results sometimes causes a lot of friction. On the extreme, they tend to have domineering personalities that are very authoritarian in nature. And that causes a lot of clashes, a lot of conflict, especially with people like diplomats or technicians who are kind of slow to make decisions and try to keep pondering on solutions, where the driver is willing to just keep going and going and going. If you think of a leadership role in terms of getting results and building solid teams, a driver is a lot better in getting results at the expense of the team, right? So they're better in achieving metrics and hitting targets, but not as much in building good relationships and build great, solid, high-performing teams in the long run. If you're a driver leader, how can you improve your style and at the same time stay truthful to who you are? Sometimes just tap on the brakes and realize your energy can push people to the limit and actually affect the end results and the quality of the end results. Coordinate balance, trying to find the balance between reaching results and aim higher with good team building skills, right? Soft skills and connection. Maybe a good strategy is to elect a person to be the good cop on the team. So you kind of create a buffer between your abrasiveness and your aggressive style, having someone to articulate things under a more positive light and eliminate some of that friction. But if you're feeling that you're being too restrictive and, maybe forced to behave in a way that's not natural to you, maybe an entrepreneurial environment may be better, right? Because sometimes in corporations, in the corporate environment, you kind of have to be poised and control and calculated, and they might kill off some of your best assets, which is your energy and your ambition. So if you're a driver, obviously, like any of the other styles, have to look for the best fit for you. So more competitive, more aggressive environments, more cutthroat in a sense, that's competition, results orientation. So if you're a follower of a driver leader, how do you build trust? Drink a Red Bull before you go to work every day. But seriously, jokes aside, you have to show commitment, energy, and drive every step of the way. Avoid the philosophical discussions during your one-on-ones and focus on practical ways you're going to contribute, right? This is what I'm going to do by the end of the week, by the end of the month. This is the target that we're going to be reaching at the end of this quarter. Look for practical ways to contribute, right? Task-oriented, they are goal-oriented, they have some metrics attached to them, numbers, figures, anything that's tangible and speaks to results, right? A driver leader is less interested in how you're feeling and more interested in how you plan to contribute, how you plan to move the needle, right? How are you going to get things done? So the strategist leader, just like the driver leader, he operates with an end goal in mind at all times. But a little bit better than the driver leader, the strategist knows how to balance individual needs with organizational needs. So he's more socially conscious than the driver leader. When he's setting the vision and work for long-term goals, he'll look for opportunities to engage, captivate, and connect with people. So he's aggressive in pursuit of results, but he doesn't leave people behind, right? He knows what it takes to build consensus and to convince people and to motivate and engage them in a way that he fights resistance in a more soft manner, right? Less abrasive, less aggressive than the driver. The strategist leader is more tactful than the driver leader in building emotional engagement. He understands that organizational transformations cannot be separated from individual transformations. So he knows that results cannot come at the expense of people. So he's more respectful of other people's styles. And instead of bullying and threatening and moving fast and breaking things like a driver leader often does, a strategist fights resistances with compelling storytelling. Usually he frames the work under a higher purpose, with a big social goal or a social cause attached to it. In summary, the strategist leader combines the best elements of the technician, the diplomat, and the driver leaders. From commitment and appreciation to precision and quality, to the people skills and the energy to create transformations. So the strategist leader not only builds teams and gets results, but delivers on high-impact long-term transformations. So things a strategic leader craves: positive transformations, work with a deep purpose, with a meaning, products, services, creations that make society better. Where do you see strategist leaders in place in organizations? Usually at the top of organizations, right? At the helm, at the higher rungs of any place. You see people setting policy, vision, and mission. Strategist leaders are the architects of storytelling. And how does a strategist leader fail? Well, usually they don't, right? At least not from an internal and behavioral and capability standpoint. I mean, the only way a strategist can fail is if he or she is pursuing a work that does not have higher purpose, right? Does not have a meaning that connects with their personal beliefs and values and talents and skills. So finding fit is really important for the strategist type of leader. I mean, obviously, and in addition to that, external factors and circumstances can affect the results and the capacity of a leader to make transformations. But for the most part, a strategist leader combines the best elements of the best leadership styles. He's really well equipped and well suited for meaningful and big long-term transformations. If you're a strategist leader, how can you enhance your style and stay truthful to yourself? Well, usually, again, as mentioned, for you, fit is everything. You have to connect with a higher purpose, doing work that you believe, for causes that you believe, that you like to make transformations in specific areas that really speak to who you are as an individual, as a contributor. So that's the best advice for a strategist type of leader. If you're the follower of a strategist leader, how do you operate? You have to show him or her that you believe in the vision, right? That you connect with a purpose and you're willing to do whatever it takes to make those transformations, including, fighting resistances and connecting and convincing and, engaging people to do the things that they need to do. So a follower of a strategist leader needs to have, open mind, having great listening skills and looking to the future, right? Without prejudice, without, some sort of like naysaying of negativity, right? Have to believe in the vision and always strive for the best and thinking positive, working hard to make the transformations necessary. So you have to believe in the transformations in the first place. But again, right, as a follower, that's probably not a better type of leader to engage with and to support than a strategist leader, because that's the kind of person that's going to make meaningful transformations to any organization. It's going to give you meaningful and high quality projects for you to learn and grow and build your skills as you grow, as you progress in your career. So if you're supporting a strategist type of leader, chances are you're working on transformation, change management initiatives that face a lot of resistance, a lot of naysaying. You got to build tough skin and have to be ready for that. Hope you enjoyed this episode of MBA Bites. In our next, we're going to profile 4 types of followers in organizations, from the worst types to the best types of followers that leaders have to deal with. Whether you're in a leadership position or not, most people report to somebody in organizations. So there's a lot of value on this episode. For leaders in particular, how do you build the best kind of followership to your high-performance team? So stay tuned. MBA Bites is a series about things you learn in business school and things you don't. I am Vin Bittencourt, and I see you next time.